Hey everybody, I'm Jill Redfern and welcome to Third Shift Movement Shop, home of Literal Technique. This tutorial revisits a previous tutorial about the 3 places where alignment breaks in the 33 vertebrae. And I want to revisit it because we've had a chance to look at the anatomy of the 33 vertebrae and the skull and the ribcage barrel and the pelvic barrel. So let me just remind everybody, the 33 vertebrae are one structure made up of vertebrae that move jointly but differently. Alignment of the 33 vertebrae directly impacts the skull, the ribcage barrel, and the pelvic barrel. Their alignment is derived from the 33 vertebrae. So all of these bones are called the central bones because they're central to our alignment. All other alignment flows from the 33 vertebrae. Alignment will break in 3 places in the vertebrae. The first is at C1, where the skull directly connects to the first cervical vertebrae. The second place is at around T5, 6, or 7, give or take. And that's going to be right around in this area of the thoracic vertebrae. And the third place alignment breaks is at the lumbosacral joint. The lumbosacral joint is where the lumbar vertebrae meet the sacrum, the sacral vertebrae. There's this joint allows movement. Most of the movement of the lumbar vertebrae happens at this joint. And most of the movement that happens is either flexion or extension. So those are the 3 places that alignment will break. What these 3 places have in common is that the alignment will break in either a flexion or an extension. So at the skull, for example, we're going to have flexion and extension right up here. That's where you get into your here or your here, but you're not in the cervical vertebrae, are not in their anatomical curve. The flexion and extension here is going to create this kind of motion in the rib cage barrel, and the flexion and extension down at the lumbosacral joint is going to create this kind of flexion and extension. Awareness of these 3 places is really helpful, because when we try to align the 33 vertebrae and as one structure and unify our alignment of the central bones, those 3 places give us a way to focus on something. So for example, and the other thing is that while it is possible for us to break the alignment by flexing, right? Flexing down at the pelvic barrel, or doing this is an exaggeration. This would be alignment breaking in flexion, and this would be alignment breaking in extension. I don't have any data to back this up, but I'm willing to bet that for the most part, most of the alignment breaks in extension. In other words, we're doing this. And again, that's an exaggeration, but it's almost an attempt to balance the body by pulling our weight backward. And the error in that, of course, is that it takes the vertebrae completely out of alignment. If you put your hand on the vertebrae here, and even just at the skull and the lumbosacral joint, and you do that, feel what happens to the vertebrae. It's kind of hard to get up into the thoracic vertebrae, but you could do that. You can feel the vertebrae come out of their anatomical curve, and the anatomical curve is our neutral. So what we want to do is use the 3 places where alignment breaks as a way into unifying alignment of the entire structure. So while you're in class this week, think about those 3 places and focus your awareness on those, and think about, are you trying to balance your body by throwing your weight back and extending the vertebrae backward? What does a balance feel like when the 33 vertebrae are neutral? Because it feels a particular way, and it's very different than when those vertebrae are all extended. So pay attention to that in any opportunity you have, standing upright, doing turns, doing anything at the bar and warm-up exercises, or exercises in a modern class in the center. Any opportunity you have to think about where those vertebrae might be, where alignment might be broken at those places, will give you a really clear sense of what your patterns and habits are when you're trying to find alignment and balance of the body when you dance. Okay, I'll see you next week.